When a team enters the field of championship contenders, they almost automatically become receivers of much attention from fans and the media. And this is especially true if such a team is located in a big market like New York or Chicago. However, throughout the 2019-2020 NBA season, this hasn't been the case with the Los Angeles Clippers, as most of the attention has been focused on the rival Lakers and teams with lower expectations. Thus, it becomes valid to question, what are the reasons why a team with arguably the best roster in the league and the reigning Finals MVP doesn't get as much attention as other franchises? Could it be that people don't see them as a legit contender, or is there more to it? Welcome to Courtside. Today, we'll talk about what might become the Clippers' most successful season yet, and the reasons why it's mostly flying under the radar. The team, originally founded as the Buffalo Braves, was born in 1970 as part of an expansion that also included the Portland Trail Blazers and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and had a modest success during its early years. However, following a series of complications to keep playing in Buffalo and the sale of the organization, the franchise was relocated to San Diego, where it adopted the name of the Clippers in reference to the ships that passed through the city's bay. But despite having a decent first season, the team struggled during its years in San Diego, failing to make a playoff appearance and finishing with a losing record in 5 of their 6 seasons there. By their 4th year in the city, the franchise was sold to Donald Sterling, who decided to move the team a few years later to Los Angeles in what was a controversial move, as he did it without the league's approval. Eventually, the dispute between Sterling and the league was settled without any major consequences for the Clippers, but the team was unable to improve from its time in San Diego. During their first 7 seasons in Los Angeles, they finished with a losing record, and it wasn't until 1992 that the team made its first playoffs appearance since their Buffalo years. However, their success was short-lived as they were defeated in the first round in consecutive seasons before missing the postseason again. From that point on and until 2011, the Clippers only managed to make 2 postseason appearances and win a single series, giving them a total of 4 playoff berths and 1 series victory during their first 27 seasons in Los Angeles. Their continued mediocrity over the years hurt the team's reputation, as they were considered a perennial loser and were often overshadowed by the success of the neighboring Lakers. However, this would start to change in the 2011-2012 season, as the Clippers, who already had a couple of promising players in DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, managed to acquire all-star point guard Chris Paul to form a core that would help them turn into regular playoff contenders. With the way Jordan and Griffin connected with Paul, the team became known as Lob City and enjoyed its longest period of success, making 6 straight playoff appearances from 2012 through 2017 and finishing with over 50 wins in 5 consecutive seasons. But despite their regular season success and the amount of talent they managed to put together, the Clippers couldn't make it past the second round, thus becoming known as one of the most talented teams to never win a championship. Part of their shortcomings was caused because of injuries, as both Paul and Griffin missed time during some of their early exits. However, there were also times in which the team simply collapsed, such as when they blew a 3-1 series lead against the Houston Rockets in 2015. This led to a series of moves in which the Clippers traded Paul and Griffin away and allowed Jordan to leave in free agency while acquiring players like Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, and Montrezl Harrell, who would all become part of their new core. As they rebuilt, they missed the 2018 playoffs but made their return in 2019 as the 8th seed with a 48-34 record and managed to win 2 games in their first-round series against the defending champion Golden State Warriors before being eliminated. Following the conclusion of the season, the team was preparing for a free agency class that could help them become championship contenders once again. On July 10, 2019, their efforts paid off as they shocked the world by signing Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard and trading for All-Star forward and previous MVP candidate Paul George. With the addition of the star duo to a roster that already included 2 of the best bench players in the league in Williams and Harrell, as well as an elite defender in Beverley, and under the guidance of star coach Doc Rivers, the Clippers became one of the favorites to win the title for the first time in franchise history. Their rise also coincided with the acquisition of All-Star forward Anthony Davis by the rival Lakers, making it the first time that both LA teams were among the championship contenders and starting what became known as the Battle of Los Angeles. Throughout the season, the Clippers relied on their depth as they managed to finish with the second-best record in the Western Conference, despite many of their starters missing time because of injuries. They also showed flashes of their full potential, as they had a 10-1 record in the 11 games they played at full strength, and bolstered their roster by the trade deadline with the acquisitions of Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris. When the season was resumed in the bubble, the Clippers continued their excellent play despite looking a little rusty from time to time and expected to slowly integrate all of their players so they could be at full strength by the time of the playoffs. However, this proved difficult once again as Harrell and William had to leave the bubble for a few days while Landry Shamet and Zubats arrived late, and Beverley suffered an injury, which essentially forced them to head into their first-round matchup against the Dallas Mavericks without a fully healthy roster. Still, despite the amazing postseason debut of Luka Doncic, the Clippers closed the series in 6 games behind Leonard's impressive play, The Claw averaged 32.8 points, 10.2 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and 2.3 steals per game while shooting over 50% from the field. The two-time Finals MVP had 33 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals in the deciding Game 6 to become the first player since 2000 to post a line of 30-10-5-5 in a playoffs game. However, while Leonard was dominating the Mavs, the media focused its attention on two other subjects: the struggles of his co-star, Paul George, over the series, and the seemingly inconsistent play of the team. PG had a historically bad stretch between Games 2 and 4, which helped Dallas to even the series at 2 wins apiece, but he was able to bounce back and help his team close the series out after talking about how he had been dealing with depression and anxiety inside the bubble. On the other hand, the team has had some evident lapses of inconsistency, especially on the defensive end. However, this must be attributed to the fact that they weren't playing at full strength and had to make several adjustments on the run. Despite these issues, the Clippers have continued to get better after each game, which has been evident in their second-round series against the Nuggets. After being defeated in Game 2 following an awful defensive effort in the first quarter, the team bounced back to win the following 2 games and is now on the verge of reaching its first-ever conference finals. In Game 4, better defense allowed them to hold Denver to just 85 points. The improvements, as the players said, have been possible thanks to the continuity they've enjoyed over the last few games, which has allowed them to develop better chemistry. George has also managed to contribute more steadily as he averaged 24.3 points during the first 3 games of the series before settling for 10 in Game 4. And Leonard, of course, has continued to dominate on both ends of the court, making outstanding one-finger blocks one day and finishing with 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists in the following game. But the most impressive thing is that they might not have even reached their best yet. The Denver Nuggets are a solid adversary, but they're not expected to contend for a championship yet. Still, they've managed to give the Clippers a run for their money during the series, showing that there's still space for growth. If Kawhi and company can use that to get better as they go deeper into the playoffs, they might be able to take the title of the best Los Angeles team directly from the Lakers' hands. And whether that demands the attention of the media or not, we can be sure that, if this team reaches its full potential, there might not be anyone capable of stopping them on their way to their first championship ever. Anything less would be considered a failure for them. At the end of the day, the Los Angeles Clippers might not make the most headlines aside from the usual altercation that Beverly may find himself in, or the clever speech that Coach Rivers may give to the media at any given time, and they probably like it like that. But when it comes to basketball, there's no doubt that this team has what it takes to go against anyone in a 7-game series. And if everything else fails, they can always get the ball to Kawhi and let him go to work. After all, that resulted in the championship run just a year ago. But now, do you believe that this will finally be the year when the Clippers win a title? Or will they come up short as they have done in the Lob City for years? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, remember to like it and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.